Let's be honest, you're going to waste most of your energy today. Not because you're lazy, but because you're spending it on things you have absolutely no control over, what someone thinks of you, the traffic that makes you late, or whether that big project at work will actually succeed. This constant struggle is the root of so much of our stress. But what if there was a simple trick, a 2,000-year-old principle from the Stoic philosophers, that could give you back all that wasted energy and grant you an unshakable sense of inner peace? What I'm about to share is the single most important lesson in learning to control the uncontrollable. Think about the last time you felt really anxious. What was it about? Maybe you were replaying a conversation in your head, kicking yourself for not saying something wittier. Maybe you were compulsively refreshing your inbox, waiting for a response that would decide your fate. Or maybe you were doom scrolling through social media, getting furious about things happening hundreds of miles away. Our world is constantly buzzing, demanding our attention and our emotional energy. We worry about the economy, political fights, other people's opinions, and what the future holds. We get frustrated by things that have already happened. The Roman philosopher Seneca absolutely nailed it when he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This state of constant, low-grade anxiety has become the new normal for so many of us. We feel powerless, spread thin, and perpetually overwhelmed. We've somehow convinced ourselves that if we just worry enough, plan enough, or stress enough, we can bend the world to our will. But it never, ever works. All we do is exhaust our mental and emotional resources on battles we were never meant to fight. We end up like puppets, allowing external events and other people to pull our strings, jerking us from happy to angry to desperate, all in a single day. We've given away the keys to our own peace of mind. But what if you could take those keys back? What if you could cut the strings and stand firm, no matter what chaos unfolds around you? This isn't a superpower. It's a philosophy. And it's a skill you can learn. So, what's the fix? It comes from a school of philosophy called Stoicism, practiced by everyone from a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, to a famous playwright, Seneca, to a man who was born into slavery, Epictetus. The fact that this one idea empowered a man who ruled the known world and a man who was once considered property shows you just how universal its power is. The core of this trick is a simple but life-changing principle known as the dichotomy of control. Epictetus put it perfectly in his handbook, the Enchiridion. He states, "Some things are in our control and others not. That's it." That is the fundamental idea that can change everything. According to the Stoics, the only things truly within our control are our own thoughts, our judgments, our intentions, and our actions. Everything else, literally everything, falls into the category of things we do not control. This includes your body, your health, your reputation, what other people think of you, your wealth, and even the outcomes of your best efforts. Now, that might sound a little pessimistic at first. You don't control your health or your wealth. But really think about it. You can't control whether you get sick, but you can control your diet and how often you exercise. You can't control if the stock market crashes, but you can control your saving and spending habits. You can't control the final outcome of a job interview, but you can control how well you prepare for it. The Stoics argue that most of our suffering comes from getting the categories wrong. We mistakenly believe we can control external things, and we neglect the one domain we have absolute power over, our own mind. When we try to control the uncontrollable, we're rewarded with frustration, anxiety, and that feeling of being powerless. But when we shift our focus inward, to our own responses and actions, we find a source of unshakable strength and freedom. To really get this, let's use a classic Stoic analogy, the archer. An archer preparing for a big competition has several things she can control. She can control her training, the hours she practices, and the quality of her bow and arrows. On the day of the competition, she can control her posture, how she holds the bow, her breathing, the way she sights the target, and the exact moment she lets the arrow fly. All of this is within her domain. But the moment the arrow leaves the string, it enters the realm of the uncontrollable. A sudden gust of wind could blow it off course. The target might fall over. An unseen flaw in the arrow's feathers could send it spiraling. Now, a foolish archer obsesses over these external factors. If the arrow misses, she blames the wind, curses her luck, and is filled with rage and despair. Her happiness is completely dependent on whether the arrow hits the bullseye, an outcome she does not fully control. The Stoic archer, on the other hand, places her sense of accomplishment on her own actions. Did she prepare diligently? Did she aim with focus? Did she execute the shot to the best of her ability? If she did all of those things, then in her mind, she has already succeeded, regardless of where the arrow lands. She accepts the outcome, good or bad, with tranquility, because she knows she did everything that was within her power. This brings us to our own lives. Think of a presentation at work. You can control your research, the quality of your slides, and how much you practice. You can't control if your boss is in a bad mood, if the projector dies, or if a client asks an impossible question. The Stoic approach is to focus entirely on delivering the best presentation you possibly can, and then let go of the outcome. Or think about a first date. You can control being on time, being a good listener, and being yourself. You cannot control whether the other person is attracted to you or if they'll want a second date. Focus on being the best version of yourself, and let the rest happen as it will. If this idea is already starting to click for you, and you want more ancient wisdom for modern peace, take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. We're building a community of people who are dedicated to living a more intentional life, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Understanding the dichotomy of control is one thing. But to really feel its benefits, you have to practice it until it becomes second nature. Here are 3 practical steps to start reclaiming your energy. First, the mental stop sign. The next time you feel a surge of anxiety, anger, or frustration, just stop. Before you react, ask yourself the critical question: is the thing I'm upset about within my control, or outside of it? Is it your thoughts and actions, or is it an external event or another person? This simple act of pausing can break the cycle of emotional reaction. Second, shift to a virtuous response. Once you've identified that something is outside your control, deliberately shift your energy to what you can do. If someone is rude to you, you can't control their behavior, but you can control your response. Will you escalate the conflict? Or will you respond with what the Stoics call the 4 cardinal virtues? You can use wisdom to understand their anger probably isn't about you, courage to not let it ruin your day, temperance, or self-control, to hold your own temper, and justice to respond in a fair and dignified way. You focus on your part of the equation and let go of the rest. Third, and this is the hardest part, practice radical acceptance. The Stoics believed in wishing for things to happen as they do, not as you want them to. This doesn't mean being passive. It means accepting reality after you have done everything in your power. If you prepared for the interview, gave it your best shot, and didn't get the job, you accept it. You don't waste energy on, what ifs. You accept the outcome, learn what you can, and move forward. You aim high, you do the work, and then you let go. There's one final, powerful layer to this Stoic trick. It's not just about separating what you can and can't control. It's about understanding that external events have no inherent power over you. This brings us to a core teaching from Epictetus. We are disturbed not by things, but by the views which we take of them. The traffic jam isn't what's making you angry. It's your judgment that the traffic jam is a terrible, day-ruining thing that is making you angry. A critical comment from a coworker isn't what's hurting you. It's your belief that their opinion defines your worth that is hurting you. The event itself is neutral. It's just data. Your interpretation, your perception, is what colors it as good or bad. And your perception is one of the few things you have absolute control over. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that a disciplined mind is an invincible citadel, a fortress of refuge that nothing external can ever breach. You can choose your perception. You can choose not to be harmed. When you combine this with the dichotomy of control, you become truly resilient. You not only focus your energy on what you can control, but you also learn to see the things you can't control as neutral, neither good nor bad, just part of the fabric of life. For years, you've probably been wasting precious energy fighting battles you can't win. You've been trying to control other people, control outcomes, control the world. And it has likely left you stressed, anxious, and exhausted. The Stoic trick of the dichotomy of control offers a way out. It's a two-step process. First, focus your energy entirely on what is within your power, your thoughts, your judgments, and your actions. Second, learn to accept everything else with a calm and steady mind. This is not about giving up. It is about living strategically. It's about directing your power where it will actually have an impact. It is the art of separating what is yours to command from what is not. By practicing this ancient principle, you will find that the chaos of the world no longer has to disturb your inner peace. You'll discover a quiet confidence and a resilience you never knew you had. You will find that true control doesn't come from shaping the world around you, but from mastering the world within you. Thank you for watching. If this video gave you a new perspective, please like and subscribe for more wisdom on living a better life. And now, for your first act of practice, share in the comments one thing you've been wasting energy on that is outside of your control, and that you are now choosing to let go of. Take that first step.